Welcome back to Prep Recruiting Insider. This is PRI here at Cello's in Metairie. I'm the head coach of PRI, Rick Gailey, joined as always by our Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nato. And along with Renee, we're so happy today to have the head football coach of the Lutcher Bulldogs, Dwain Jenkins. Dwain, thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for inviting me again. It means you're doing something good when you get to show up.
That's right.
Dwain, you've been on the show before, and you know, the Lutcher has great history, great tradition, 7 state championships. But starting the 2016 season, you kind of got a target on your back because everybody's shooting for you now to take you down after the state championship last year.
It kind of comes with those expectations. They won the state championship last year, had an incredible run, and when you come back and you have a lot of those returning pieces, especially on the offensive side of the ball, everybody expects you to do it again. So it's something that we've embraced. It's something that we've talked about since I got there in February. The goals are there. We know what we want to do. We know we want to play the second Saturday in December, and everybody's shooting for that same goal, and we happen to be the defending state champ, so we know we're getting everybody's best shot every week.
And Dwain, talk about your development as a head coach. It did take a little while, not as long as it took me to get a head coaching job, but talk about your development and what you learned along the way, starting with your first coaching job.
Right. I was very fortunate, and when I went to do my student teaching, I landed at Santa Monica with Coach David Swacker, and he allowed me to be part of that program, and it was really good because it was at that time that Santa Monica was making the jump from the wing tee to the spread offense. They had been working and studying with Coach Rodriguez and Coach Bowden when they were at Tulane, so that was kind of my introduction and really shaped me a lot as a coach that I am offensively and philosophy-wise. After spending a year there, had the opportunity to stay, but Coach Letelier called and offered me a position, and I came in. They were starting the middle school program in St. James Parish where they brought 7th, 8th grade together, so I came in as a middle school coach. A year later, moved on to a position coach on a varsity, coaching receivers, and was fortunate enough to win a state championship that first year in 2003 after getting off to a pretty rocky start, but we turned it around. Had the opportunity to coach Gerard Landry, and he went on to play at Southern, so coached receivers for 3 years. Then in 2006, got the opportunity to move to being the offensive coordinator. Had the opportunity that year, team led by Blaine Gauthier, Rolando Melanson, and we went on to win a state championship in 2006. And in 2008, won another state championship. And it was after that 2008 year, kind of started getting out there a little bit with head coaching opportunities, interviewed for a couple of different jobs. Didn't work out a couple of different times, came up short, made the finals, didn't get the job. And then finally in 2013 had the opportunity to take over a St. James program that Coach Gailey had made known all around the state and had fallen on some down times. I got that opportunity to go in there and restore that program and was really fortunate. The kids bought in quickly. They wanted to win. They knew how to win. The community got behind us and supported us. And a couple quarterfinals and a trip to the state championship later, got the call to come back home and take over a program that Coach Letelier had started building back up in 1991, and 4 state championships later, has it as one of the premier programs in the state.
You got a good handle on recruiting, and recruiting is a little different now, Dwain. You got social media plays into it. How difficult is it as a head coach to kind of keep an eye on things and keep a handle on things?
It is very difficult. You kind of have to kind of be aware. You have to keep up with all the different trends, and you really just need to build relationships with the coaching staffs and make as many contacts as you can. Be as open and honest all the time that you can be with coaches. That way they respect you and they give you calls and they keep you updated. But with social media, the way that things are now, anybody can get in contact with kids. Kids there's more access to kids now than ever before. There's a lot of different things that go on, and really you just have to really parent kids on how to act on social media because that's their resume. That's what coaches are seeing, that's what people are seeing. And now with all the early recruiting's happening so early now. You have kids that are getting offered before they play a snap in high school with YouTube and Huddle and Twitter and Instagram. Kids' highlights out there when they're in 7th grade, 6th grade, and you get kids who have notoriety. Even in the state of Louisiana, you had Dylan Bozos on the cover of ESPN magazine before he played a snap of high school football. So you have those things that you're dealing with, and now those expectations are there, and you just got to police it and just kind of stay involved as much as you can and really just build that trust with the kids and their parents, and then build the trust with the college coaches and go from there.
You talked about that the kids, especially anywhere at St. James Parish, they want to be coached.
No doubt.
And one of the important elements in wanting to be coached is having a coaching staff that can coach.
No
and
doubt.
you've got some experience on your staff.
We do. We're very fortunate in St. James Parish at both schools. Had the opportunity to hire coaches. They give you the opportunity to get guys in that want to work with kids and want to build relationships. And one of the things that happened this year when I made the transition and came over from St. James to Lutcher is kind of a unique situation. I called the plays last year. I was the offensive coordinator at St. James. Coach Daigle was my defensive coordinator. Coach Bourgeois was the offensive coordinator at Lutcher. Coach Zarang was the defensive coordinator at Lutcher, and now we're all on the same staff together. So the 4 guys who called plays in the Superdome last year in the 3A state championship game are all on the same staff, and we've been able to kind of blend a lot of those things together. Coach Bourgeois and I had worked together since '06. He was the guy who took over the receivers when I became the offensive coordinator, so we have a pretty good relationship. Coach Zarang's been the defensive coordinator since '98. And Coach Daigle was the defensive coordinator at Dutchtown before he joined me at St. James. So now we have 2 guys with a ton of experience on the defensive side of the ball as coordinators. And myself and Coach Bourgeois, who have some experience on the offensive side. Then we have Coach Bourne, who's been at Lutcher for 17, 18 years. He's our special teams coordinator and defensive line coach. We have Coach Lacombe, who's been there for quite a while as the offensive line coach. We have Coach Smith, who replaced me when I left Lutcher to go to St. James, who was a former quarterback at Nicholls State, coaching. Coach Chad Carter, our running backs coach, was with me there before. He was also a running back at Nicholls State. And then we brought in Joseph Venus, our offensive line coach, who spent 2 years with Coach Jay Roth at Rummel on the sideline there, won a state championship at Rummel, and then spent a year with Coach Monica at St. Charles before he joined us this year. So we've got some guys that have a ton of experience on our staff. We have a staff that's a good mix of older guys, some of us middle of the road guys, and then a couple of young guys there to kind of keep us balanced. But the biggest thing on our staff, and one of the things that I've talked a lot about as I've been a head coach now, going into this is my 4th year, is it's all about building relationships. You have to build relationships with the kids. They have to believe in you. They have to know you care about them. They have to know that you're going to give them their best effort. And when all of those things kind of come into fold, you can get kids to do a lot of things for you.
You play quarterback under Coach Detillier, then academic scholarship to LSU, and Rohan Davey and Josh Booty and Craig Nall, and you know, even as a quarterback on that group, you picked up a lot of things from Jerry Donato and Detillier. You knew you'd be a coach, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling I was going to be a coach early on. I started coaching when I was still in high school. I coached some all-star baseball, travel baseball stuff, and kind of got the coaching bug, I guess, early. Went to LSU, kind of had an offer to go play at Lindenwood College, which is outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Knew I had an academic scholarship, went to LSU, decided football was behind me, was intramural playing football, playing softball, and then Coach Detillier gave me a call that spring when Josh Booty decided to give up baseball and come to LSU. He had been talking to Coach Donato. They needed another arm in camp so they could let those 3 guys go battle it out that spring. So they called and asked if I was interested. I knew I was going to be coaching at that time, and I thought it was going to be some great experience.
Good. That's Coach Dwain Jenkins. I've been around so long, I remember coaching against Dwain. That's how long this has been. And we're still here.
That's it.
And we're still smiling. How good is that? But big games coming up ahead, not just starting district last week and going on, but the unofficial 3A state championship against St. James and De La Salle later in the year. We'll be back at Cello's after this timeout.